Hi everyone, so happy you joined me this class of defining consciousness. It seems that our meeting together are really making all of us so happy. Thank you for joining me today on defining consciousness. Today I've chose a subject that it's really, I think in this time around that we need to connect back to our true desire. What is desire? What are the level of development of desire? We'll talk about it today, and especially I'll refer to articles of Rav Ashlag, the Kabbalist that interpreted the Zohar into the, as we know it, the Sulam, Perusha Sulam, which is the interpretation of the Zohar and setting up of the Zohar into paragraph and they call it the Perusha Sulam. Sulam is a ladder in Hebrew. And why it's Sulam? Because as we elevating in with our spiritual work, as we elevating with our consciousness, as we going we climbing a ladder from one level to another. So God willing that with everything that we are learning and practicing in our, whether the spiritual life and practicing in our life, we are climbing in the ladder of transformation and raising our consciousness. When we talking about defining consciousness, it's all about that. We're learning different information. We awakening the desire within, which I'll talk about it shortly. But we awakening the desire. We trying, and we're seeing actually more than trying. We actually seeing more than we saw yesterday. We viewing everything as we are on like a GPS above our life, and we understanding a little bit more every time that we're learning, every time we're practicing the spiritual work. We are viewing our life in a different way. We getting just a little bit more clarity. We understand the cause and effect in situations that happening into our life. And I must say that sometimes we have wow moment. I had a whole wow moment the last couple hours before I'm starting this session, as I've heard lessons from the Rav, and I've heard lessons from Shimon Tzarfati, different things that when I was reading just before I came, like a verse from the Zohar in related to this class, it's like really a wow moment. And it doesn't matter if we are 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 1 year studying. Every time we have a desire to learn more, we have a desire to have clarity in our life, we are cleaving for true desire and manifesting our life in a much better way than we have had yesterday. The universe bringing it all to us. And this is basically our class today. Identifying what is desire, connecting more to what is true desire and how we awaken in that. What are the levels to awaken true desire? And there's so much to talk about. I've heard that the class just before me with Yehuda Yishurin and Moshe Talmi about the writing of the Rav Ashlag, they have also decided to speak about the power of desire. And it's so exciting that we all connecting to the same energy, because we're in time right now that truly we have a bit of confusion, whether we're in whether it was like Corona, whether the demonstration, the riots, the fire, whatever is happening in our world, in United States, outside of the United States, it's always there's like this feeling of confusion, and what is that I'm supposed to do? And there will always be some sort of an excuse from the 1% realm. We call it because it's for like the evil inclination, but there will always be a force that will put a stop into the like in our path. And as we're running and as we walking and as we moving forward we had ideas of things to manifest in our life. We had things of how this year is going to be. We wrote everything at the beginning of the year in our journal, how we perceive in this year, how we see in this year, what are the efforts we're going to make things are changing in time, and then what happened? We have lack of motivation. We don't feel like moving as we had in the beginning of the year. Things are really putting a stop. So this is why we have decided to speak about awakening the desire again, because desire brings into manifestation of our dreams. Desire brings us into manifestation and action and creating the reality that maybe we're supposed to have or what we want to have. So this is what it is. So when we talk about desire, we talk about the fact that desire is the vessel. What does it mean, desire is the vessel? We spoke about it, that when we, in the world of Ein Sof, where before this world has been created, in the world of Ein Sof, there was the light and there was the vessel. The light shared everything, gave everything to the vessel just received. Basically, the vessel is the receiver of the light. So in our spiritual work, as we continue doing our restriction, we continue to identify what are our fears, what is the belief systems, or anything that is really the limitation that we have. We identify them that are preventing us from moving forward. We identify, we're working on it, we restrict, we expanding our vessel. As we expanding our vessel, which means our desire is getting being expanded, is larger, we're receiving more light because the vessel is larger, which means it can contain more light. Containing more light is more fulfillment, more blessing, manifestation of our reality. So I'm going to refer today to articles and various studies from The Thought of Creation by Rav Ashlag in the book, and I'll refer you to them. But we need to understand, first of all, there are the Ari and Rav Ashlag spoke about the desire to receive, right? There are 4 levels of development of the desire to receive, and it's called the 4 phases. I'm going just to speak about it really shortly in this session, because I want to more focus on the development of the desire, so we all will understand what we're talking about. So obviously, if we want to have change in our life, if we want to have our reality to be manifested in any way that we would like, it requires us of a change. And a true change is talking about not just that, then identify what's the lack and where we need to change, is to first of all understand that every morning we wake up with a desire to something. We desire to drink, we desire to eat, we desire so many things in our life, right? It's all about really, because we really want to get something, when we really want to get something. So just to understand that the lowest level of existence is when an individual doesn't even know what they want to do in this world, or what they desire today. One of the lessons by the Rav, it was asking, it was saying, I see people and asking, what do you want in your life? What do you want? Like so I want everything. Oh, really? You want everything? Great, share with me. What does it mean you want everything? So then people start to list, when we ask them the question, they start to list all the things that can block them and all the limitation why they cannot have everything that they want in the world. So we see like a list of things of, oh, because of this I cannot reach that, because I'm not good enough, because of these people. What do you want? What do you really want? And this is the question that I would like all of us to ask ourselves. What do we want in our life? What do we want? Every day, ask yourself in a journal, what do I want to have in my life? It's related to our previous class about the vision. What is your vision? How do you see yourself? What are your qualities? What is that the stuff that you need to bring? Rav Ashlag in Thought of Creation says, Ki haratzon shebechol mahut, and the desire of each person, molid lo tzrachim, והצרכים מולידים לו מחשבות והשכלות בשיעור כזה. כדי להשיג את הצרכים ההם אשר הרצון לקבל מחייב אותם. Which means every person has a desire, and from the desire, needs come out from the desire, and the needs, from the needs comes the thoughts, and from the thoughts come the feeling, and therefore the manifestation. So what do we see just from this? We understand that people, all of us, if we relate it to the 10 sfirot, for example, Keter, the first level, the first realm of the 10 worlds, so the first realm is Keter, is the Ratzon, is the desire. When we go to Chokhmah, which is the second realm, the second Sphira is the thought. When we go to Binah, it's the feeling. When we go to Zeir and Pin, it's the words, and for Malchut is action. So we have the desire, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have words, and we have actions. So if we look at this, and we just talk about just the thoughts, right? So if we have good thoughts, like thoughts of like, great, I will take this idea that I have, and I will I'll connect and with those particular people that will support me in manifesting these ideas. We have different thoughts about how to make it happen, how to manifest the idea that I've received. So it's a good thought, right? If I have bad thoughts, so a bad thought can be, I don't feel like doing anything, I don't feel good about myself, maybe it can be sadness, maybe it can be in a form of depression, whatever, fears that are coming up to us. So when we have good thoughts versus bad thoughts, in general, there are thoughts, right? What comes or what brings those thoughts into our life? What the initiation of the thoughts? What will bring the thoughts is the desire. When we have the right desire, the desire brings the thought and brings the feeling. So if we have a desire, for example, to open a business, to have a new business, we have a whole, this is like, I have a desire to open a business, the business that will make, let's say, billions. What are the thoughts that come after this? The thoughts of how I'm going to manifest these ideas. Then we have the feelings. Remember, feelings coming after thoughts. The feelings can be amazing. I can make it happen. I'm feeling good about myself, right? And I'm moving forward into words and action, and then manifesting this desire. The thing is, in the middle, we might feel incomplete, we might feel the fear of how can I make it happen, etc. Why those feelings and thoughts come in? We always need to ask ourselves, what was my desire? Is it the desire to receive for myself alone? Is it desire to share? And the Rav Ashlag is saying that וכשם שרצונות בני אדם שונים איש מרעהו, as the desires are different from one person to another, כן צרכיהם ומחשבותיהם והשכלתם. This is how their needs and their thoughts are different, which means every person, the only difference between one person to another is their desire. It's very interesting, it's their desire. So if we're going back and we're going to see the slide, there's a phrase in the Mishnah, in Masechet Sanhedrin it's called, it said, Bishvili nivra olam. The world has been created for me. It's like, so why the world has been created? For me. What does it mean? The Creator has created for us this world that's called the world of action, the world of Malchut, the world of physicality, for us to reveal the light that's within us, to really, everything started because we had a desire to be like the Creator, because we had a desire to share, and the desire was so strong that created the need, and that need created a movement. Okay, so desire create need, tzrachim in Hebrew, need, that create movement, that create action. So everything, if we understand that the world hasn't been created for me, for all of us, for each one of you. The world has been created for you to reveal your light, to manifest your desire, that our desire will be completely aligned with the desire of the Creator, which is what? To reveal the light, to reveal the light. The thing is, sometimes when it comes to desire, is sometimes we want to do things or we do not want to do things. Like everything is based on our desire. We feel like get out of the couch. We don't feel like getting out of the couch, right? This type of desire is called passive desire. For example, I feel like I really want ice cream right now, but I don't feel like getting up off my chair to check in my refrigerator if there's an ice cream there. When we know that it's starting to become a true desire, it goes through the 4 levels that I've mentioned earlier, that Ari mentioned, that the evolvement of the desire to receive. So I'll just give it an example when we go with the ice cream. So the first level is Prina Aleph, it's called. It's a passive desire because I just have an idea, I just have a desire. I feel like I want ice cream. I just want ice cream. I don't do anything, it's passive. I just have a thought within myself. You know, there's like, you probably recall that when you sit on your couch and say, oh, I feel like really this coffee or this drink, or I feel like chocolate. But we don't do anything. The second phase, the second level, is I start, especially when we talk about food, we start to feel the taste. We start to feel the taste of this particular ice cream that we want to have. This taste is the starting to connect to something very special, that it can bring us into motivation or not. Okay, it's just like, then we remember we said we have desire, we have thoughts, we have feeling, we're starting to feel. We're starting to feel, what is that taste? Still, there is no really manifestation. There is no really movement. It's just in the level of the desire, thought, and feeling. The third level, we acting. So maybe we get up to see if we have the ice cream in the refrigerator, but if we see that it's not in the refrigerator, what can we do? Two ways. One, we just close the refrigerator, we're going back to the couch, continue watching the movie we have watched, or we're making a decision, and the decision is, I don't have ice cream in my refrigerator, I'll go and buy the ice cream. I'll move from the house, I'll move from my couch, and I'll get into my car and I'm going to get the ice cream. Which means in level 3, we have an option to make a decision. And decision that will bring into action, or decision that will bring going back and stay in that level, which means staying on my couch. The 4th level is the action. Is literally that I got into the car, I bought the ice cream, I'm enjoying it, and I made a decision, and I follow through, and I make a commitment, and I actually manifested the desire. You understand what I'm saying? It's like we need to know when we want to reach a true desire, which means we need to have few things that will take place. One is, first of all, we have to understand what we receive is what we determine, which means it's like we need to make a decision, we need to make the commitment, which commitment is making effort, we need to act. Acting also require acting with passion, acting within. It's those 3 elements really indicates that we have a true desire. Okay, but I want to share with you what are the levels of the development of the desire according to Rav Ashlag. So we can go and see. I've brought you the articles, and I'm going to read the Hebrew. You're going to see the English in the next slide. So basically, there are different levels of how the desire is being presented in our life in general. So Rav Ashlag is calling it the quality of the inanimate, vegetative, the animal, and the speaking, which is the human. So we're going to see how, what are the qualities, and then we're going to see how it's being developed, okay? The inanimate, it talks about a small desire to receive. It's like the smallest desire to receive. There is emotion inside the inanimate, but it does not develop nor change. There is a collective force of motion of all parts of the inanimate act as one. The desire of all type of inanimate is one, to be, to exist. So imagine like rocks, a table, TV, everything that it's inanimate. What does it mean? Doesn't move, which means if it doesn't move, it exists, it's right there. It's like a tissue box. It's like a tissue box, it's just here. And it's here, it exists, whether I'm going to use it or not. It's my intention, it's my act, but as far as the item, the inanimate, this box, basically it's just there. So what does it mean? It doesn't have, it's the smallest desire that exists. So when we talk about inanimate, it's just like to be and not to change. If we refer it to into our life, it's what, as we spoke earlier, it's the passive desire. It just be there. Sometimes in our life, and if you will look at areas in your life, check with yourself. In all those areas, like let's say relationship and health and work and personal, where you behaving like a rock, like a tissue box, that it just exists, just be. Sometimes in relationship, our desire to be in that relationship present itself just as to be, like I really don't want to change. And most of the time when we're in that level, when we're in that desire, we complaining most of the time about the other person, and we are becoming the victim. So it's outcome of this particular passive desire, which mean, what does it mean? Like if we go back to the slide, we'll see that it says there that is to exist, to be, to exist, to neither change nor transform. They all act as a collective and not as an individual, which mean we're just there, we just be there, we're just passive, we're not really taking any initiation, we're just there, we don't have any desire to transform in that particular area. So this is one quality that may exist within us in an area in our life, okay? When we go to the following slide, we'll see what does it mean, the quality of the vegetation, okay? The next slide, which means the vegetative, like if we look at plants, for example, or trees, right? So it's a bigger desire to receive. Why? Because each type of the vegetative has a typical desire, and each type react differently to changes in the environment, which means if we look, there are plants that need a lot of water, there are plants that need less water, there are plants who need a lot of sun, there are plants that need to stay in the house, and they're in different environment. There are plants that only grow, let's say, in the Amazons, but it cannot grow in home. What does it mean for us? Each type develops differently, yet the desire to receive is not big enough to push them to interact or move to another location. Which means in that level, and look again at yourself, like we're not talking about plants, we're talking about us, where this quality may exist in us, and we relate to it in certain areas, which means there are desire. Some areas in our life we act like a plant. We only, I have a small desire, let's say if it's at work, and again relationship, we see it in different relationships. Some relationships we have that we are more active, we like to be in that relationship, we want to, whether friendship, family, or romantic relationship. Maybe other relationship we're just like, we just there, the desire is not big enough to push me to be more connected with you, for example. So This is the vegetative state, and this is another quality or another aspect of how our desire presented in our life. So I'm sharing this with you as I'm learning, as I'm sharing it with you, is like how we can apply it into our life, okay? The following slide is the next quality that it talks about the animal behavior within us. So it talks about it, it's much bigger desire to receive. Each type has a different way of living. For example, some walk, some swim, some crawl, and some fly, right? With animals. And their desire enables them to move and change location, but it's still not big enough to have any feeling for each other. They cannot feel the sorrow or happiness of their fellow friend. And I know that when I gave this class before, some people say, yeah, but for example, I have a dog that he really feels when I have my pain, or if I'm happy, or if I'm sad, he relates to this and he really feels me. It's true. Now, remember, we're not talking about the particular animal. We're talking about the animal that within me, the behavior of animal within me, which means as an animal, like, what does it mean? Like the ratzon behemi, it's called in Hebrew. We desire more. We want to eat. We want to cry. We want to celebrate. We have a physical desire, 1% desire that we want to complete and achieve. But in the same time, it's still a desire for the self alone. It's still, what is that I'm receiving from it? Is a desire that the outcome of it is maybe I'm getting control out of it. It's like maybe I'm getting a certain position. It's all about agenda. So because we have this agenda, we cannot feel the sorrow or the happiness of our fellow friends. Why? Because we're still talking about me, me, me. We still relate to the me. So there are areas in our life that we do behave like this, and we need to identify it. Why? Because we have to understand. Rav said, like, the greater intensity of desire to receive is the greater revelation of light. We want always to evolve our desire, to expand our desire, because expanding our desire, which means I'm expanding my vessel, I'm receiving more light. Okay? So we want to evolve in our desire. We want to basically transform the desire to receive for the self alone in order to share. But there are stages to get to that point. We cannot just jump into just desire to share, because the sharing will not be real. How do we know that it will not be real? We'll not feel happy after this. We will feel actually disappointed that people didn't appreciate my sharing. Okay, so every time we feel disappointed, every time that we still have the anger, every time that we still the sadness still exists within me, I will, which means it wasn't the right desire, or the true desire. Okay, so when we talk about the animal, is the animal desire that exists within me. Yeah, it's much more desire to receive, but it's still receiving for the self alone. There's another quality which talk about the speakers, the human. And human, if we'll see on the other slide, the next slide, we'll see the definition of what does it mean. The quality of that desire is the complete and total degree of desire to receive, able to feel all previous levels of desire, in addition to feel the desire, pain, happiness of others. So now, as human, we have the opportunity or the ability to feel other people's pain, which is the highest level of the desire to receive. But the difference between the animal type of desire to speaking type is like the difference between one individual created being and the entire existence. What does it mean? The Rav Ashlag is saying, רצון זה גדול מן הרצון הקודם לו, כמו המרחק בין פרט אחד בבריאה מול כל המציאות מולה. Which means now, the desire, when we are human, we can feel everyone else. So we can be as an individual, but we can be also part of the whole. And those are the qualities, the 4 qualities of desire to receive that exist. And now we want to move to understand what are the 4 levels of development of the desire. So I'm sharing with you a lot in the slide. We translated it to you to English. So the first level, and we'll see it in the next slide, is the level where, and I'm sorry, I have it like, I just brought you a lot of information today, which I hope you will appreciate, because it's something that it's my passion, understanding more about the desire. Because remember, if we're not satisfied with the outcome, which means we always need to go back to the seed level. What's the seed level of every outcome? Is our desire. What was our desire? What was my intention? Yeah, I want to desire like a big house. Why I want this big house? How we transform it into desire for the self alone, but to share it, right? So this is how desire is being evolved. So the first division, in this phase, we expand our ego without boundaries and attain the biggest physical desire to receive, which means, and it says here, as long as the more our ego and desire are flawed, meaning bigger and stronger, the more we can correct. This is something beautiful. This is what the Rav Ashlag is saying. It's something really beautiful. Imagine a person that doesn't have any desire at all, which means I don't want to eat. I don't want to. When someone is asking you, what do you want to accomplish in your life? I just want to be. It's so difficult to really, must say, to work with a person when he doesn't know what he wants, when he doesn't know what's the vision, he doesn't have even goals. It doesn't matter, honestly, if the plans or the vision, if it's something real for him, if this is his purpose, this is his meaning in life. As long as we have desire, Rav Berg said, as long as we have desire, there's something to work with. Why? Because yes, there's the ego. The ego can be transformed from negative to positive. You know, ego is sometimes a good thing. It's not like just a bad thing, because ego brings us the fire. Desire is the fuel that moves us to create and to live. Okay, so this is why this is important that we're talking about today, about desire. So if we go back to the first division, we see that as long as we have the desire and the ego is like, Rav Ashlag is saying, mekulkalim yoter, more corrupted or more, which means bigger, there's more to fix. There's more that we can work with. But it is, לכן צריך שהרצון הגשמי יגדל תחת שליטת האגו והקליפות הגשמיות. And it says here, and you can read it also back into the slide, it says there that our desire therefore our physical desire must grow under the domination of and be subjected to the ego and the system of the klipot. We need to have our physical, or the first division of the desire, the physical, ratzon gashmi, the physical desire must be bigger. Like we want, it must be, because then there's something to work with. We need, like if you have desire to eat and all those type of foods, and you desire this house, and you desire this car, and you desire $1 billion, it's so important. Don't be shy when you've been asked, what do you want? Yeah, I want the whole world, because the world has been created for me, remember? I want the whole world. Why? Because this is like the beginning of really achieving your purpose in life. Because it says, our desire nourished by the klipot and not by the light. Therefore, our fulfillment is temporary, and the desire is then doubled. It is then nourished by the klipot. Klipot are the shells, right? And the fulfillment is again temporary, and the desire is then again doubled. This goes on like a vicious cycle for the first 13 years for the boys and 12 years in our life. Remember kids, they all want to have like the toys for themselves, and they have desire. Now I want to play. I'm bored. Now I want to do this. I don't want this. I want that. This is how kids are always really behaving. And what are we doing as parents, as adults? What do we do to our kids? We diminish it. We're lowering their desire by saying, no, it's not the right behavior. You need to share your toys. You need to give from your candy. Share from your candy. We think it's so nice that and so important that we really getting our kids, we're teaching our kids to share. There's an amazing lesson that I hope that we'll have in one of our sessions of Rav Ashlag that says, if, you know, we're talking about the seed and the fruit. And the fruit is the outcome, right? Is the outcome of what we've planted. What is the seed? Right, the consciousness, the desire, right? So if the fruit is unconditional love, what is the seed level of unconditional love? What do you think? What is the seed level of unconditional love? I must say, unfortunately, I cannot hear you, but I'm imagining, because I've heard it from students in the past, that okay, so if we plant in a seed of an apple, so the outcome is an apple. If you plant in the seed of mango, the outcome will be the mango. So if we're talking about the fruit, the outcome is unconditional love. So what we plant in, most of the time I will receive the answer, love. Rav Ashlag is saying, no. The seed level of unconditional love is self-love. He actually is using the word egoism. When we self-love, and especially when we go back to the first division that talks about the early stages of development of a person, which are the 12 years or the 13 years, boy and girl. When we're talking about the early stages, it's just not talking about just the ages, but it talks about the early stages of our building our true desire. And it has to go through the physical desire that we desire so much, and ego. And I don't want to share. I don't want to share like the kids, because the self-love is, we always talk about it, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. If we do not love ourselves and we do not understand what are qualities that we have, how can we love someone else? If we immediately jump and we to the level, or we think we're in that level, but automatically when we jump to unconditional love and we behave with unconditional love to everyone, and we're loving and nurturing, but by the time we're coming back home, we will always fall into the place of judging and complaining and disappointment for how other people are behaving. But when we start by, first of all, loving ourselves, we identify what are our qualities, we know who we are, we know what we need to change, but we know who we are, then all the outside reality, let's say the external reality, will not affect my feeling, will not affect my desire to share. Okay? Because if we want to share our light, and this is how we wake up in the morning, with the desire to share our light, so any rejection, any comment by other people will not affect us, or we'll know how to overcome it quickly by doing next, because we know who we are, and we know what's our desire, and we know what's our vision, because we want to share the light. You know what I mean? I must say personally, this week we started giving Kabbalah 1 in Hebrew globally, my husband Avner and myself, and I must say, with all the advertisement in Instagram and Facebook, all social media, brought various comments, obviously two. One that is like really appreciative and thank you so much and I want to take part, and some comments that I've seen that people who are talking bad about us, about the knowledge, it's not the right time, you don't know about the knowledge, etc., etc. And I must say that one specific comment that I've received pushed my button in a way that it really made me feel bad, like why people talking bad. And then I remembered the lesson. And I remember what I'm about to speak about today with the desire, what we're talking now. And I understand that when you have a desire to share light, and no matter what the external reaction, good or bad, will not affect you, will not affect your true desire, right? Because you see the vision. You see what you want to be. You see what you want to do. This is when we're talking about true desire, but it has to come with self-love. It has to come, this is the beginning. So we'll go back to the slide just to finish understanding this page and this phase. So it says here that, again, that as long as the desire, the main purpose of this section of the first level is that as long as the desire, the physical desire is big, as long as the ego is big, it's amazing because there's still things to fix later. We don't fix it at this moment. Desire it. Now we in the second division, and in the second division we see that it's referred to the other second phase of the growth of a person from age 12 to girls and 13 to boys. But again, we look at it on that particular aspect of development of a person, but it's the second division is also can relate to different ages, right? So the point in the heart is being awakened and work under the domination of the world of holiness. This is so beautiful. There's a point, what it means is like, you know, we in the world running and trying to create our life and manifesting our life, and we have the desire for the big house, for the money, for expressing ourselves, to get to this particular position, to do, and maybe we also sharing and we giving and we volunteering, but there's a moment that it's so beautiful. There's a moment that it says there's awakening. There's awakening of the nekuda, which is there's awakening of something in the heart is awakened, and it says here להגדיל את הרצון לקבל הרוחני, which means there's a point in our life that a desire to really, a spiritual desire to share is being awakened. Because it says here, רצון מושלם הוא צירוף של רצון גשמי ורצון רוחני ביחד. Like the perfect desire is the combination of physical desire and spiritual desire together. רצון לקבל רוחני גורם לאדם לרצות מילוי גם לנשמה. That a spiritual desire bring the person to desire fulfillment to the soul. And this stage, the second division, if we go back to the slide, we see that this phase is considered to be the point that is transforming the desire to receive into desire to receive for the sake of sharing. It's already starting in the second phase of the development of the desire. And the purpose of this phase is to bring the person to fall in love with the Creator, with the great, with passion, and it's similar to really that someone is like really passionate about material stuff. So this is awakening. Even the second division, or the second phase, is awakening the 5 parts of our soul, which is the nefesh, ruach, neshama, yechida. It's awakening all those levels of our soul, which mean in time, each one of us that studying any spirituality, especially when we come and study the wisdom of Kabbalah, is because there is an awakening that we have done so much in our life. We have accomplished different things, and mainly most of it probably it's physical. We saw that we received certain fulfillment, but it didn't last long, because obviously if it didn't last long, we continue searching, we continue desiring things, and it's as if it started, like for example with the phone, with the cell phone, like let's say the iPhone. It started with a regular iPhone, then iPhone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's like more and more, which means we're always desiring like the best of this self. When we're desiring the best of this, we want something that someone else has. This is the first level. But there's a point that we awaken, and there's a moment in our life that we are awakened and we say, we understand that it's not lasting fulfillment. We understand that there's something is missing. So the desire, the spiritual desire is awakened. What is the spiritual desire? Is the desire that the purpose of this stage is that to bring the person, האדם להתאהב בבורא בתאווה גדולה. Which means to bring the person to really love the Creator in such love that has the same love that he has for physical things. And this stage is unbelievable, but it's still the combination of a physical desire and a spiritual desire. And when we go to the third division, and we see it in the next slide, it's a phase of spiritual work for its own sake, without any personal agenda. We purify the desire to receive for the self alone, and it turns into a desire to share. Then we can receive the 5 parts of the soul, which called the nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida, from their source in the endless. It's so beautiful, because this third division, this is basically where this is what we do in our spiritual work, is to identify where we still have the desire to receive for the self alone, and really work it with no agenda, to share with no agenda. And this is the highest level of where we all would like to reach and to get to. Because listen, we have in our life understanding that, I'm sure some people will say, yeah, it's amazing after we're finishing to listen to a particular class, or we're reading material that really motivates us and really bring us into excitement, and as soon as we finish it, yeah, I will now, yes, my desire now it's become like so big and cause me to really act. And what happened the next day? We wake up and we go back to maybe a more passive desire, or sometimes I want, sometimes I don't want, and we're feeling some sort of lack. And this is, I believe, we feel from, I don't know if it's these days in particular, but we have it in our life. We feel lack. We want to believe that everything is okay, but we still feel like some sort of even a depression in a way, or things are not going my way. When things are not going my way, it's affecting my desire. Why? Why it's affecting my desire? Or why it brings like negative thoughts? Because if I have negative thoughts about myself or others, which mean I'm not connecting to the true desire to share the light. I'm not connecting to the true desire to identifying who I am, what the Creator, understanding that the world has been created for me to share my light. When I'm disconnecting from this contact or from this information, obviously then it comes to negative thoughts and depression, etc. But even though there is lack and pain sometimes and challenges that we go through, we need to understand that there is a reason why also we feel this lack and the pain, because the lack, when we're in lack, what we're looking for, when things are not going our way, when we're searching for attention. And when we search for attention, we search for love from people, we search for validation. Even that search is awakening some sort of lack that brings us into the some sort of a desire that brings us into the first phase, back to the first phase of development of desire, the physical desire. And it's a good thing, because when we have lack, what does it mean? I feel that something is missing, and I want to fulfill it. I want to fill it up, which means the purpose of lack also brings us to evolve and to grow my desire that I will want more. And lack that comes from pain, it's kind of like an awakening call, if I may say, or an alarm, that it's really like pushing our buttons in a way that we do not understand how, but it's also lifting. Maybe it may be slow, but it's awakening more and more our desire. And what's the purpose? Why do we want to know? Why do we need to have the desire, if true desire? Why do we want to really fulfill our awakening and to connect to the light of the Creator, or connect to the light within us? Because, every time we're talking about, when we talk about fulfillment, automatically some people will say that when you're fulfilled, you're happy. So the only chance that for us to be happy is if we change, right? So happiness is basically the communication of us with the universe. Most people spend their life chasing happiness, and we learned, or we're still learning, that being happy is a message from the universe that you're on the right track, and you cannot do anything. You cannot do things to be happy. Actually, you will be happy if you are doing what you're supposed to do. So if a person does not change and evolve and get closer to his purpose, he will never be happy. So even though we came to this world to receive, we all want something. The way that we will start to receive what we are meant to receive in this world is if we change. Until we change, the only thing that we do is to take, right? So the way that we conduct our life, if we don't have true change, is that we do not have true nourishment of light and evolvement. And therefore there is no long-term fulfillment. There's only running after this. So awakening true desire is connecting to moments of happiness in our life. Because remember, happiness is the outcome of achieving our purpose. So in order to get into having a true desire that is coming really from within with so much passion to do, is we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision, whatever it will be. We need to make a decision that will follow a commitment. So let's say we have a desire for a relationship. So I make a decision that I will do whatever it will take from me to get this, to be in a relationship. And then have a commitment to the path, commitment to the process, commitment to the person, right? And then I'm acting with passion. Acting with passion is like to see what the other person needs. What do I need in that? Like to really, with all your essence, you act. And it's very, very important that if we want to maintain desire and connect to true desire, because the desire is the fuel of our life. It's allowing us to move forward, to move in a way, in general, because if we'll see I wrote it for you in the next slide, because if we want to really, the following one, if we want to really, the next one, if we want to manifest things in our life, so desire, there's the next slide, desire brings us in, create needs, therefore movement, while deciding and committing, okay? So what does it mean? Desire create needs. Desire needs in a positive aspect. I really see how, if I have desire to share the light, so I need it. I see that how it really can bring this happiness to my life, and it brings movement. Something that it's very important with everything that I've said is like to really surround yourself with people that will lift you up or will support the process that you go into in a way that will bring you great energy and motivate you to really become who you're supposed to be. Like a environment can be a teacher, a mentor that will be there to guide you or to be your nest when you fall, that can lift you up and put you back into the path, or friend that you trust. It's so important, the environment that you surrounding yourself with, to maintain a path of really connecting to your inner desire, and to connect to the happiness. Desire brings movement, right? What does it mean, movement? Movement is changing, evolving, developing, developing even your taste. One day when you were a kid, maybe you liked chocolate. When you became like 20, you liked vanilla. It's amazing. You evolving, you trying different things. This is why decision and commitment, it's the ability to really continue and maintain change, maintain the change. Okay, why? Again, because it's about evolvement. It's all about us being evolved and developed and connecting always to our essence of who we are. Because from the beginning, from the world of Ein Sof, the endless realm, we all desired to be like the Creator. So now we receive the opportunity, we receive the platform, we receive the world that we live in to become like the Creator, and we have free will to choose to be the Creator, or just to be in a passive way, and just that the time will pass by and will not achieve what we want. Because otherwise we'll sit on the couch and we'll still ask for this ice cream, and we haven't tasted the ice cream yet. So what do we want? We want to taste the ice cream, we want to eat the ice cream, we want to manifest our dream. This is our desire. This is what when we talk about desire, is the fuel. And I want to give you some tools of maintaining and awakening more of our desire, and practical tools, if I may say, and also our spiritual tools. So I want to share with you 2 verses from the Zohar that I highly recommend for you to read or to scan, that it's really to support us in awakening our true desire. One is from the in volume 1, in the prologue to the Zohar, and it's in verse 49, and it talks here about this particular verse really support us in understanding that when we facing challenges and we may feel even pain, and we don't really know what it means to cleave to the light and the Creator. And this particular verse, it's really awakening the light force within us, this point, and as soon as it becoming like a true desire, the pain is slowly disappear. Another verse that I would recommend for you is from Truma, and I think that this I'll share with you if you want to connect with me, so I'll give you the verses for you. Another thing is, like in my slide that I've prepared for you, I've set up for you 2 of the 72 name combination, 2 combinations from the 72 name that will be able to support you spiritually connecting to your true desire. The first one is Aleph Kaf Aleph. Aleph Kaf Aleph, it's related to the ability to connect to the DNA of your soul. It's like connect back to the memory of the soul and the purpose of why your soul came here to the world, what kind of light revelation needs to take place by you, what kind of secrets and light you need to reveal. So Aleph Kaf Aleph is connecting to your DNA, to your essence. So I highly recommend to meditate with that. And shortly I'll do with you a short meditation if you would like. And Mem Nun Dalet is to remove fears. Because when fears are awakened, which means I'm not connecting to my true desire, I'm disconnecting from the desire to really reveal my light. When I'm disconnecting from it, fears are awakened. Practically, what I would highly recommend to you is to have in your journal those questions that I will share with you now, to answer them. If you wish on a daily basis, if you wish on a weekly basis, but at least to ask yourself, what is the intention of your desire? Where is it directed to? Okay, what type of seeds are you planting today, or you've planted today, or you're going to plant this week, that when they'll become fruits, what type of fruits there will be? Are we creating fulfillment, or are we creating chaos? How can be today or this week be more initiative people? What can I do tomorrow that can promise me that I will have more productive and proactive day? If I had any challenge, to ask myself, why is it in my movie? How can I transform and use this situation as an opportunity for change? What kind of messages that the universe has sent me today? What's happening in my life now? What exists in my life now that is a blessing in my life? What am I thankful for? What is being given me in my life today or in this moment? Those questions, it's just a sample question that can really support us in, while answering this, identifying and directing us more the energy into a way of connecting to my true desire. True desire, which means a true desire brings into action and movement and manifestation, okay? So, and the thought will follow according to my desire. The thought will follow. So if you see that your thoughts are negative, if I may say, stop. It's also another awakening call. Stop and recheck again. What is my desire? If I want to be a billionaire, is it because I really just want, because of I want to prove something to someone? I want this position. I want this house because it's a desire for the self alone. Or I want to be a billionaire because I can also it can make me stronger and I can influence others. So ask yourself all those questions, because then it will really direct you on a daily basis or a weekly basis on your desire. If you can relax a little bit, and if you wish to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. Maybe Momo can put some music for us if he has. If not, it's okay, but you can close your eyes. And I want to do with you a short meditation that will direct all of us to really to a desire. So with the Aleph Kaf Aleph that I've mentioned and Mem Nun Dalet, close your eyes, relax, breathe. Exhale, inhale, and feel all your body from the head down to your legs. Release your body, your shoulder, your neck. Try to see your body from the outside and slowly scan all your body. Let's breathe 5 deep breaths. In any way that you know, deep breathing. And as you inhale, you feel that you're opening a door to the 99%. And as you exhale, you release the limitation of the 1%. Each one of you with your 5 deep breathing. Each one of us can see himself right now sitting in a really relaxing place. Maybe with a person that you had a conversation with him and you heard his limitation, his sharing with you his klipot. And as he's sharing with you, you in a total relaxation, opening up yourself. And you actually share with him and you tell him that you really have the passion and your desire is to support your friend with your, and you are able to help him to open his blockages. And it's beyond the logic and beyond any intellectual limitation. Really from the upper worlds, from the 99%, you're receiving the opportunity to be the channel to your friend and to understand that maybe he doesn't see the bigger picture, but you have the whole picture because you're a channel to this friend. And I'm really caring for him and I wanted to receive answer to empower my friend. And you feel completely open. And even if you have any thoughts that are distracting you, just put them aside, disregard them. Allow yourself to receive thoughts that will direct you outside of the box for your friend, for whatever he needs. Maybe he needs idea, maybe he needs empowerment from you, maybe he needs the strength from you, maybe he needs to just open up for you, open up things with you. Ask that the answer will go through you or through him, as long as the answer will come from the light. Now you're asking from the light to help you to open up your blockages, that you will be more effective to help other people, not just for yourself alone. Focus right now on the blockages that you are aware of and open the door to hear what you're supposed to hear or what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You know the answer is inside of you, and the power of healing the pain that caused the blockage is also within you. You know that you have the opportunity and the ability and the power to connect to it, and you know that it's really simple. You really want to get out and move from the path, not to interfere to the light, to show you and present to you the right answers for you to heal everything that you need to heal. Allow yourself to sit a little bit in quiet and really allow answers to come through you, to allow you to remove your blockages and allow the intention of the light of the Creator to come in. When we talk about being the channel, in Hebrew is tzinor, is the same letters that being used to the word ratzon, which is desire in Hebrew. So you are channel of the light for your friend and channel of the light for yourself. Now, slowly, as you're receiving messages maybe from the light, or as you allow the light to enter, feel your body back. Feel the light coming through you. and open your eyes slowly. You're connecting to your DNA. The fears are gone because you're connecting back to your desire. And now you're ready. You're ready to share your intention, your desire with what you received for yourself and for others. Share your light. Thank you for being with me. If you have any questions, you always are welcome to contact me at rachelmadar@kabbalah.com. In my Facebook, my social media, in any way. I would love to hear from you if you have any question about this class or the previous classes. And remember that you are completely a channel of the light, and you have people that are waiting from you for your love and your direction and your intention. The only thing that we need to do is to align our desire with the desire of the Creator. Good luck for all of us in our process, and may we have more moments of happiness than any other moments in our life. See you later, and see you next week with our class.